Welcome to the morning after CFFL edition, week 15 on the CFFL network on YouTube. Your host today, we are going to go through and see what happened in the week that was and also do the fantasy honors this week. Also preview the big games coming up this week in the CFFL, including the OK Bowl number 7 and the Super Bowl number 20. So let's get into it. First of all, had the upset of the week this week. Actually, it was a -10. I'm sorry. Cardinals took down the Bone Storm 62-58 in a game that came down to the Monday nighter. Zach Stacy had 13 points as one of the top scorers for the Cardinals, along with Keenan Allen. As he took down the Bone Storm, Peyton Manning had 13 points. A little bit of a down week for him as the Cardinals advanced into Super Bowl number 20. Also this week, we saw the Garbage Men take down the Kongs 105-69. Jamal Charles led him with 41 points in one of the greatest games in CFFL history. Justin Tucker also had a very good day for the Kongs. They had 23 points, but not enough. The Kongs fall and continue their playoff drought without a win, just like the Gargoyles. The fifth place game, the Team LBM took down the Sasquatches 68-66. Nick Foles led Team LBM with 25, and Phil Dawson had another strong week for the Sasquatches as he had 17. In the Consolation round, Gargoyles dispatched the Donkeys 89-53. Des Bryant had one of his better games of the year with 14 points. Tony Romo consistent again, except in real life, he had 16 points. And the Horn Dogs take down the Badgers 78-57. Dan Bailey, big day with 24 points, and Deshaun Jackson had 16 points for the Badgers as they fall. Horn Dogs meet the Gargoyles this coming week in the Consolation Round Super Bowl, or the OK Bowl, as we like to call it here. Now let's take a look at the honors of the week. Player of the week, obviously, is Jamal Charles. 195 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, including 1 rushing. 41 points. It was the third best game in CFFL history behind Jerry Rice in 1990 and Clinton Portis in 2004, I believe, as they had 43 points apiece. He tied with Sean Alexander a couple years ago when he had 5 touchdowns and 41 points. Walk of shame this week goes to the Kongs and Bone Storm as they both walk away from the playoffs and are eliminated. This week now we'll take a look at Griff's gripes and go specifically about RG3 and letting the cousin down. I'm very disappointed that RG3 took his benching without much fuss. He essentially quit and left a blemish on the Griffin name. Did Archie quit after his first Heisman? Did Blake quit after his first failed dunk attempt over a car? Did G-Dog quit after his second state football championship? No. Archie went on to win his second Heisman, Blake won the slam dunk competition, and G-Dog won his third state championship to give the Griffin 6 total, most in St. Mary Springs high school history. Shame on you, RG3. Maybe next week we can link up a tape of that championship you had there, Griffin. We can see you make that big catch, that little first down you got there. That was big. So maybe next week we can link it up here. Anyway, back to the news of the week. Prize money breakdown at this point. Kongs have 3 high point wins and they get their $10. We've kind of talked about the first 2. This week the Kongs and Bone Storm will play for an extra $10. Both have gotten their money back with $60 apiece. This week there's a $10 game for third place. Team LBM won 30 now and the Sasquatches won 20. And this week the Cardinals and Garbage Men each have 175, with the winner this week getting another 100. All checks will be sent out at the end of the fantasy year. Next up, we can look at the Consolation round, where that stands. This week, Gargoyles will play the Horn Dogs in the OK Bowl for the coveted Jim Shavina belt. Previous winners, Rand's Bullets, Bernie's Bruisers, Mike Smallers, DK's Kongs, Black Dingoes, and Team LBM. Every team in that has gone on to make the playoffs the following year except for the Black Dingoes in 2012. Finally, taking a look at the big games of the week, obviously Super Bowl 20. The Garbage Men take on the Cardinals. And OK Bowl number 7, Gargoyles take on the Horn Dogs. Now, we're on our way to take a look at the fantasy honors. We'll get to those right now. First of all, the Dave Pushik Award goes to Josh Holzbauer and the Fighting Sasquatches for the most transactions on the year, the third consecutive year he has led the league in that. Fantasy Honors also recognize the Eric Red Award for Comeback Player of the Year or the Fantasy Zombie. Noshan Moreno wins that award. Just came out of the blue and had a heck of a year. Flex Player of the Year, really huge. Although it looks like in the future it'll be Monty Ball, but this year was still a year for Noshan. Kurt Warner Award for the undrafted free agent goes to Julius Thomas. I know when I signed him I did not expect this. This weekly consistency of touchdowns, kind of expected to be maybe 7-8 touchdowns on the year, including 2 opening day. But yeah, he's been really good. Kind of touchdown dependent though. But he gets Kurt Warner Award this year. Tom Brady Award and Best Late Round Draft Pick goes to Phillip Rivers, who went to the Bruisers in the 14th round. Another guy who could have won Comeback Player of the Year, but I decided to split it up a little bit. Rivers has been great and consistent all year. First Round Bust Award of the year. While Ray Rice gave Trent Richardson a run, it has to go to Trent Richardson, who at times looked like he would come through, especially when he was traded to the Colts. People thought he'd have a great year, but he did not. During the bye week, people were talking about him getting more carries. That never happened. He finally had an okay week this week for the Colts, but still extremely disappointing for Trent Richardson and myself for drafting him at that spot. And finally, we have a guest presenter right now to give out the Fantasy MVP. You're going to give it out. I don't know if anyone can guess who the Fantasy MVP is going to be. Do you know who it's going to be? Yeah, you think you know, huh? Well, let them know, Emma. Tell them who it's going to be. The Fantasy MVP is, surprise, surprise, Peyton Manning. He had 21.8 points during the regular season. Bowling Storm drafted him in the 3rd round. Peyton Manning is your Fantasy MVP this year. So, Emma, let's talk one quick thing here about the Super Bowl. This week we have the Cardinals taking on the Bowling Storm. Cardinals are 7-4 in previous Super Bowls. Their last Super Bowl they lost last year to the Badgers, 71-69. Then also we have the Garbage Men making their 2nd Super Bowl appearance. They're 0-1 so far. They lost in 2011 to the Team LBM. That's right. And then we have a couple big matchups this week. We're going to look at 4 of them. Matt Stafford, who's against the 14th ranked New York Giants defense. Noshan Moreno against the 20th ranked Houston Texans defense. Matt Forte against the 14th ranked Philadelphia run defense. Jimmy Graham against the 14th ranked Panther defense. And finally for the Garbage Men, we have Drew Brees against the 2nd ranked Carolina Panther defense in Carolina, which could be big. Jamal Charles against the 17th ranked Colts defense. Fred Jackson against the 23rd ranked Miami run defense. And finally, and this is surprising, but they've been so good, the Chiefs defense versus the 13th ranked Colts offense. So it should be a great Super Bowl. Good luck to everyone this week. Really only 3 games that are playing, the 3rd place game, the OK Bowl, and the Super Bowl. Good luck to everyone except the Garbage Men. Hope your whole team comes down with a really, really flaming case of herpes this week. Signing off until next